What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 304. And I know, where's the bloody Donkey Kong 64 episode? This one is on me, okay? I put over 20 hours into a playthrough of Donkey Kong 64. I have beat no chance I 100%ed that fucking game, but I did beat it, and we intended to drop that episode today. The issue is my inability to read, because my guest for that episode will be my good friend Bradley McHugh, but he clearly told me in a text message that he was available to record Saturday, and for some reason I read it as Sunday. I could record Sunday but not Saturday, he could record Saturday but not Sunday, and now he's unavailable this week. So it was out of our hands due to my inability to read, all right? So this week, you're getting the Mega Man 2 Revisited episode that I had planned for next week, and next week, you're finally getting the Donkey Kong 64 review that I planned for this week. And I'm warning you right now, friends, okay? Enjoy this positive Mega Man 2 review, because the Donkey Kong 64 review in 7 days might not be quite as happy. That fucking game, fuck. But that's then, this is now, and this week, we're taking another look at Mega Man 2, which we covered all the way back on Remember the Game episode 5. So it's been literally, man, if it had worked out next week, it would have been 300 episodes since then. Holy fuck. This is one of the best games from one of the best franchises of all time, in my humble opinion. If you've been listening to Remember the Game with any regularity, you probably know that I'm a ride or die Mega Man fan. And well, I do think I like Mega Man 3 a little more than Mega Man 2. Those are still the best two games of the original NES series in my books. And with the exception of Mega Man 9, still the best two games in the OG Mega Man franchise, quite frankly. So I did 2 replays of Mega Man 2 on Sunday. One on normal difficulty, and then I did it again on the difficult difficulty, just as a bit of a refresher. And I gotta say, bud, she holds up. This is still a great game. It's digestible in one sitting, especially once you know a boss order to go through and tackle it with. And I think by Mega Man standards, Mega Man 2 is one of the easier games. When people ask me which Mega Man, Mr. Blank, how should we, or no, what is it? What can we do to not waste our summer vacation? Shout out to anyone that gets that non-Simpsons reference. But I do get a lot of questions about, hey, where should I start? I've never played Mega Man. And I normally say, hey, if you're new to the series, start with either Mega Man 2 or Mega Man X. Those are the two that I would recommend somebody dip their feet into the Mega pool with. So I'm rolling solo this week, but Bowser knows if there's a franchise I could talk to myself about for an hour, it is Mega Man. So I'm actually going to save the listener comments that I usually slip in at the end of the infamous intro, and I'll work them into the game chat itself. Put a little makeup on the pig, as they say, and try to make the podcast a little bit less bleh. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of podcasts that are pretty bleh, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, and consider this your warning. Our intros are a little long. They're not that long. They're a little long, but they're fun. They're a good time, and they're much easier to skip than it is to beat a Mega Man game, all right? If you do want to skip it, go to about the 30-minute mark and just take your little slider on your phone, put yourself there, and you're into the Mega Man talk, all right? I recommend giving the intro a talk or a chance, because I got to do a couple of plugs here to keep the bills on, but after that, we're just talking video games and stuff like that. It's good time, so give us a chance, okay? Here's the plugs. We had a merch sale running until the end of July. You could save 20% all of our merchandise off. You could, easy for me to say, you could save 20% on all of our merchandise at rememberthegamepodcast.com with the promo code Molly300. Now that ends at the end of July. So based on when you're listening to this, it may already be over. But if it's not, you really want a t-shirt, get in there, because we have t-shirts and hoodies and coffee mugs and posters, and it's awesome art, all designed by my man Joe from 4545 Creative. Show him some love. And of course, if you don't like clothes, I get it. You can always support us on the old Patreon box, because our Patreons get up to 4 ad-free podcasts every week, including our Simpsons show, Purple Monkey Dishwasher, hosted by me and Mark McHugh, my vlogging podcast, The Rambling Idiot, my gaming news show, Game Patch, and a video game potpourri podcast in Expansion Pass, where we do rankings and we look back at characters and consoles and franchises, and there's some comedy episodes. There's a ton of modern game reviews. Now, I took the last week off, but the week before that was expansion pass number 221, and I stuck with the console ranking episode theme, and I worked through PlayStation's catalog of consoles, counting them down from my least favorite PlayStation system to my all-time favorite. And as is becoming tradition, here is a sneak peek of last week's episode of Expansion Pass ranking the PlayStation consoles. Yeah, I've always gotten the impression that PSP is to PlayStation what the GBA is to Nintendo. And that is high fucking praise, my friends. I don't know if I'll ever play a PSP now. If I saw one on the cheap somewhere, maybe I would get it. But, I don't know if there's a ton on there that I want to play that I haven't played. You know what I mean? And I'm not a diehard. I am collecting a little bit again, but I'm mostly just collecting stuff I want to play. I'm not just collecting for the sake of collecting. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I limited budget, limited space. So, honorable mention, but a non-rank to the PSP. Nothing but respect. You've always been the girl next door that I was too scared to talk to. So now we're into the official rankings. These are the 6 consoles that I've spent a lot of time with all 6 of these systems, honestly. And they're really, like I said, I genuinely don't think there's a bad one, but one of them has to come in at 6. And it really wasn't that hard for me. Number 6, and my least favorite of the PlayStation consoles that I have played. So that's now available in our archives. And this week for Expansion Pass 222, the Patreons got to choose the topic, and my top 10 Metroidvanias came out on top of the poll. I'm a huge fan of Metroidvania games. Counting down my top 10 is going to be tough, but I will take a shot at it this Thursday for all of our Patreons. So again, subscriptions start at $3 a month. You get new shows every week, instant access to hundreds and hundreds of ad-free archive bonus podcasts. Plus, you can join the Remember the Game Discord. You get a chance to vote in our Patreon polls. You can write into the show and get read on the show sometimes and all that good stuff. You can DM with me, and you even get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I am definitely going to do to a couple of these people. A huge thank you to our newest Patreons, Carrie Lieb, Anthony Hayden, Juju458, Matthew Woodward, David Owen, Benoit Dussault, I'm assuming that's French. I'm not sure. Mr. Poopy Butthole, who I presume is a very clean individual to offset their horribly grotesque name. Jugadad Hueso, Zen Paladin, Dylan Thompson, Adrian Smith, and Joseph Waldrop. There, maybe some of those weren't that bad. Anyway, thank you all so much for the support. Welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all that at patreon.com/Remember the Game. And don't forget, 5% of our Patreon income gets donated to the Stollery Children's Hospital every fall as part of my 24-hour extra live stream. And we offer annual subscriptions that'll save you your 12th month's fees. And finally, when I have time, you can find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Remember the Game. I usually just play old games and get mad at them. It's good times, all right? That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, who said, Adam, do you miss blowing in the cartridge? Now, I got to throw the disclaimer out there, because if I don't, I'm going to get the messages from people like, technically, you're not supposed to blow in the cartridges. Everybody knows. Still fun to blow in the old cartridge once in a while. That said, I don't do it anymore. I do have an NES. I'm looking at my NES right now. It's about 2 feet from the tip of my finger right now. And I do play it fairly regularly, usually over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Remember the Game. And when the games fart me around, you really aren't supposed to blow in the cartridge, I know. Usually the first thing I do is I take the Q-tip and wipe out the ends because they can get pretty gnarly. And then if that doesn't work, you know what I've found works best is I put the cartridge into the NES, I push it down so it clicks, I hit power, and then if it's not working, all I do is just kind of shift the cartridge left to right in the NES while it's down, and that practically always gets it working. So if anyone's wondering what my tip is, that is my tip. But do I miss blowing in the cartridge? Yes, because those are just simpler times. Take it out, blowing it. If that doesn't work, hold reset. If that doesn't work, smack the top of it. And if that doesn't work, go outside. My mom would always throw me out once I got mad at it. So, Mike Green said, hey, Adam, would you ever consider doing a revisited Expansion Pass episode? And if so, which one? I don't know. No, I don't, because if you don't know, so basically, this was supposed to be episode 305. Every 10 episodes, beginning with episode 105, I think. We started revisiting an episode from the early days and just trying to give it a bit better episode than we did back in the early days when we didn't know what we were doing. We have done quite a few reviews on Expansion Pass, but there's so many games over there that I want to review. And there's just so many other topics. Like, remember the game? Sometimes these revisited episodes are easy for me to kind of get a week where I can catch up on another game because these ones I know how to play. But Expansion Pass, everything I'm reviewing over there, I'm playing for the first time. So I'd have to replay it. So off the top of my head, no. But yeah, I'll say no, but maybe, I don't know. If enough people ask for it, maybe someday. I don't know. Is there one that like what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna review Final Fantasy VII Remake? You're like, I don't know if I'll play anything over there again. I don't know. I don't even know why I put that in there because I don't have a fucking good answer for you, Mike Green, former NHL defenseman. But no, not off the top of my head, but maybe someday. Horrible answer, Adam. Fuck, the show sucks. Batman's a scientist. Said, hey, it's true. Said, hey, Adam, my partner and I went to the courthouse last week to finally get married after 11 years together. Congratulations. And as a wedding present, my brother bought me a GameCube along with Wind Waker and Super Smash Bros. Melee. I immediately went to a retro game store the next day and picked up Double Dash, Batman Vengeance, and Taz Wanted. Nostalgia is a powerful drug. I got the itch now, much to my wife's chagrin, so I ask you, what other GameCube games do I need to add to my budding collection? That's a tough answer because it depends on your tastes. But if you want a couple, because I have a very humble, but I like it, GameCube collection. A couple of my picks. I'm just trying to lean back so I can see my collection here. I definitely think Metroid Prime. Although I'll hear the argument you could skip Metroid Prime because you could play the Switch version. But if you're just looking for a top shelf collection, I think Metroid Prime is great. Same with Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. But again, if you want to play the Switch versions, you can. I think Luigi's Mansion is a borderline must-known on there because it was a launch title too, so I think that's pretty special. And then I'm a big fan of the Mario sports games. Mario Strikers, Mario Power Tennis, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, and Mario Superstar Baseball, I think it was called. Those would be a couple of my picks. And Mario Sunshine if you really want to own that. But I think Mario Sunshine is one of the weaker Mario games. It's fine, but I wouldn't spend my money on that before I bought, like, some of the other games I just listed. So good luck, Batman's a scientist, and congrats on the wedding. Guy Incognito said, greetings, good man. Might I trouble you for a drink? I was wondering if you had the opportunity to watch the Twisted Metal show on Paramount Plus yet. It is surprisingly enjoyable. Quite. It looks like your message cut off. All I have is quite. I'm assuming you said quite good. I don't know what you said after that. No, you know what? I tried it. I watched about half of the first episode. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I just got distracted by, I don't know, like a shiny thing on the floor or something, and never went back. I may still go back to it because I think it looks fucking terrible. I really think it looks bad. But so many of you have written to the show and said that the Twisted Metal series is not bad at all. And I do love Twisted Metal, so I don't know. Maybe. No, I haven't gone back to it yet, but maybe. That's where I'm just going to drop the ball on this one for now. Speaking of shows, I'm just saying, said, hey, Adam, have you checked out The Boys on Amazon Prime? And if so, what are your thoughts on the show and the new season? Oh, fuck. And then there's the rest of Guy Incognito's comment. Man, I suck at this. So Guy Incognito said, it is surprisingly enjoyable, quite a quick watch, and makes me excited to see more episodes in the future. But for some reason, I dropped this comment in the middle of your comment, Guy. You've been impregnated by I'm just saying. I just made a baby with two people that don't know each other. Apologies. So yes, to answer your question, I have not watched Twisted Metal yet, but I might eventually. To answer your question, Cyan, about The Boys, because that's one I get asked about a lot too. You know what? Shayla and I sat down to try it a couple of years ago, and we watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. She did not like it. She didn't care for it. Thought it was too gory. Didn't care for it. I thought it was kind of okay. It wasn't what I was expecting, but I thought it was okay. And then I just kind of forgot about it and never went back. So I'll ask all of you this, fans of The Boys. Now that they're wrapping up, because aren't they getting to the end of the series right away or something? Is it worth watching now? Or did they... Because, like, I never watched Game of Thrones, and I wasn't particularly interested. But then when everyone shit on the ending, I was like, well, I'm definitely not watching this now. So is The Boys still good? Is it good? I don't know. Yeah, it didn't tickle me last time, but maybe. Emily Luna So, in case anyone's wondering, like, I don't watch any movies or TV, or very little. I just finally watched Jaws for the first time last week while I was on holidays, which I'll review in The Rambling Idiot this week. Very good. Very fucking good. Very fucking good. But I don't watch a lot of movies or TV shows, so. Emily Luna said, hey, Adam, I was wondering if you still had any interest in doing interviews like you did on Speedrunning with episode 140. I can imagine it's not easy to set them up, but I absolutely love that episode, and I'd be excited to see another one. I would like to do more interviews. If you don't know, the speedrunning episode, we actually interviewed Summoning Salt, who is one of the, for my money, the best speedrunning YouTube channel out there. He does these documentaries about the history of speedrun records for various games. I'm watching the Mega Man 2 one right now. Fascinating. He's a really cool guy. I'd like to have him back on the show. I would like to do more interviews. It's just a matter of finding like the right guest and then actually making things line up. A lot of people write in and be like, hey, I love this YouTube channel. I'd like you to interview them. But I'll be honest with you. I think the reason people have enjoyed the YouTube or the interview episodes have been because they've all been people that I personally have a reason to want to talk to them. And I'm not shitting on your suggestions, but if someone's like, hey, here's a YouTube channel that you've never watched, I think it'd make a good interview. Then I'm like, well, I don't really know anything about them. Like, I think the interviews are at best when I'm a fan or I know their work and I want to talk to them about their work. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely interested and open to doing more interviews in the future, Emily. It's just kind of finding the right guest and then seeing if anything will line up. But it's not off the table. Flater Flav said, hey, Adam, I've asked this before, but have you ever played Mega Man X4? It is a great game. And have you ever played Maverick Hunter X? Not sure you can still get it on the Vita or not, but it was an awesome remake for the original Mega Man X. Playing as Vile for the first time in that game was the reason I bought a PSP. I've never played either of them. Either of them? This is either one. But I do have the Mega Man X Legacy collections, and I would like to play Mega Man X4, and I would love to play Maverick Hunter X, but I don't have a Vita or a PSP. But eventually, that is something that actually might be on my Retroid here. I'll have to look. If not, I'm definitely interested in it, though. It sounds awesome. But as of now, no, I haven't played them. I'd like to play every Mega Man game eventually, but I haven't as of yet. And finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. Beat on the Moan. And I didn't fuck that up. That's how it's written. Wrote in and said, howdy, Adam. Can you talk about how your mindset and confidence has changed over the years of the podcast? I've been working my way through the backlog, and there were times when you seemed to really question what you were doing and where the podcast was going. Now it seems like you're in a much better place. Great job, and keep it up. Thank you for that beat on the Moan. And a lot of you have written in over the year. I'm not reading this one to like suck my own dick. I'm reading this one because I get a lot of comments from people that discover the show and they're like, man, the show is a lot better now than it was back then. And I'm like, thanks. I think the show sucks, frankly. But I don't know. Like, is that, and that's like a false humility thing. Like, I do think this is not, I don't think this is the worst show out there. I do think it could be a lot better. I'm sure my audio's not perfect. I probably swear too much. Look at the reviews. The infamous intro is garbage. I can go fuck myself and all the things that people say. I definitely, how has my mindset and confidence changed? Confidence, and I can speak to this, and I want to, I'm speaking on this because I know there's a lot of content creators that listen to the show or people that are thinking about getting into content creation, and I just want to speak to you for a second and just let you know, like, when you start, you're probably going to hate what you're making. I saw a great YouTube video when I got into stand-up, and it was saying that exact thing. They're like, it's tough when you're trying to be a creator because they're like, you're making the best thing you know how to make. And it's, you tried really hard. It's the best you're capable of, but you can tell it's not quite good. Like, it's not quite what you want it to be. You have a vision in your head and what you're creating for a content, whether it's, podcasting or YouTube or Twitch or whatever the fuck, it just isn't quite to that bar. You just got to keep practicing. And I promise you, I've been a comedian for almost 9 years. I've been a podcaster for over 7 years now. I can tell you, like, it gets easier and you will get better if you stick with it. The first time, you picked up a hockey stick or a football or I don't know what the fuck else people do. You wrote something or you drew something or you played an instrument or whatever the fuck. You probably, unless you're like a prodigy or something, you probably weren't that good. But you just keep going back and your confidence will come with it. And to be honest, like, I have a lot of confidence in what I can do behind a microphone. I don't have a ton of confidence as far as being a podcaster goes, because I know there's probably a lot better ways to podcast than how I do it. But I'm like, this is how I do it. This works for me. I'm going to stick with this. And it's just been years of practice. And my mindset has kind of shifted from I'm so scared this is going to fall apart to I'm only semi-scared that this is going to fall apart. And bad reviews used to get to me, and now I read a bad review. Someone left me one the other day and said all he talks about is Mario and Zelda. And I was like, I don't think that's true, but okay. I just don't care anymore about the bad reviews. I'm like, I enjoy doing this show. I like the pocket that I found myself in. And I'm going to keep doing this until I don't want to do it anymore, or until all of you tell me this sucks and we don't want to listen anymore. So when you start out, I think your mindset needs to be listen to what your audience is saying. And just, you don't have to take every suggestion you get. I get suggestions every week. You don't have to take every suggestion you get, but just hear them. And if multiple people are telling you, you know, stop doing this, or you should do this, or you should do this, or you should try this, try it. Just try it. And if you like it and they like it, keep it. If they like it and you hate it, drop it, because you're not going to, if you hate it, you're going to quit doing it anyway. If you like it, but they hate it, then you have to decide, is this what you want your art to be? That's the great thing about art. No one can tell you what it's going to be. And I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Podcasting is art. I think podcasting is art. I know comedy is art. I think podcasting is art. I think this, to me, is a form of stand-up. So do it the way you want to do it. Create the YouTube videos, do your stream, play your instruments, draw, do whatever the fuck you want to do the way you want to do it. And then listen to the people that are interested. Keep the feedback you want, drop the feedback you want. And at the same time, as your confidence grows, your mindset will shift from like, fuck, I got to make sure everybody's happy, to like, I'm happy. That's what matters. And if you're sincere, and I truly believe this, even if you're like a DSP, Darkside Phil is the biggest piece of shit on the internet. But he is himself. He is the asshole he thinks he is on that show. And he's found a small audience that doesn't seem to hate that he's an asshole. I'm an ignoramus who swears too much and has bad opinions. And I found people that like it. So my thought process, that adds to your confidence, which changes your mindset. So I don't know. I don't know if that was a good answer or not, but that's how I feel about it. Beat on the moan. I hope that helped all of you budding creators. Get out there and start fucking creating. You never fucking know. All right. Thanks so much for all the submissions, everybody. We got to keep this ball rolling. So let's switch things up and get to our smash hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. And a huge thank you to Class and Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. This week was tough because, as always, there's no wrong answers, but there is a right one. And I'll tell you what it is in a minute. We're talking Mega Man, so I went with 3 more of his games this week. We have Mega Man Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man Zero, and Mega Man Legends. And 41%, pretty dominant, said play Mega Man Zero, remake Mega Man Legends, and erase Mega Man Battle Network. I don't want to erase any of these, but I did erase one because that's the rules, all right? Let me see what a few of you had to say here, then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Max Power said entirely based on the box art. Play Mega Man Zero. That cover is the least offensive. Remake Legends is not a good look, but it's way better than the stupid-looking Battle Network cover, which gets this game destroyed. I will say, A, I'm always going to have a soft spot for people that make their picks based entirely on box art, and B, well, I have started playing and I'm quite enjoying Mega Man Battle Network. The reason I skipped Battle Network for so long was also because that box art, that wiener looking Mega Man really turned me off. But I'm slowly coming around on Mega Man Battle Network. But its box art is really, I'm sorry. I know some of you love Mega Man Battle Network and I like it. But that Mega Man is the wimpiest looking Mega Man I've ever fucking seen. It's awful. He looks awful. Fun game, but fucking awful looking Mega Man. Michael Katz said, play Mega Man Battle Network. It's an excellent game as it is, holds up well, and is very playable today. Remake Mega Man Legends. This game was a masterpiece in its time, but it is not aged well. A graphical facelift and a rework of the control scheme, and it would do it. And then erase Mega Man Zero. This game was okay, but overall the least fun Mega Man series in my opinion. Still a solid 7 out of 10, but when you're up against 9s and 10s, the 7 has to go. That is sound fucking logic, Michael Katz. A+. Whether I agree with your order or not, you showed your work, well done. Matt Dye Draws said, play Battle Network. I love this game and I don't want to change it or erase it. Remake Legends. I love the idea of this game and I think a modern remake could be really interesting. Erase Zero. I hate erasing games I haven't played, but I can already tell this is way too difficult for me. My biggest regret erasing this game would be erasing the game's artwork. I bought the art book for the series, even though I haven't played it because the character designs are just that good. Zero is fucking cool looking. I'll agree with that. Zero is, I'm not a big Zero guy. but he does look badass. I'll agree with that. Chris said Zero and Legends are great nostalgia. Legends is my favorite of the two, though. So between that and the clunky controls, it gets the remake, and I'll play Zero. Network came out after I moved away from the GBA, so I never played it. So unfortunately, it's getting erased. Them's the rules. If anyone knows of a way to play Legends where I'm not spending an arm or a leg, please DM me. Yeah, they gotta fucking port those games, man. I agree. And Majora6978 said, oh man, I swear I bleed Mega Man. Let's do this. I will play Mega Man Zero. It's a great mix of OG Mega Man and Mega Man X. I will remake Mega Man Battle Network. I love the concept if you can polish it up with 2D, 3D graphics and quality of life improvements. And sadly, as per the rules, I have to let Legends go. It was a great game, but one has to die. Agreed. I agree with, yeah. It sounds like, dude, erasing any of these is going to suck. I actually am going with the majority of you this week, 41% of you, including Bradley Battaglia, who said absolutely remake Legends because if it does well, for goodness sake, we might finally get a part 3. Erase Battle Network because it's just another in a vast sea of RPGs. I'll play Zero as I never have, and I'm sure it's fun. I always thought Zero was kind of hot and cool. He is pretty hot, actually. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to play Mega Man Zero because I never have. I own the Mega Man Zero collection on my Steam Deck. I got to play it. I got to see why so many of you are so hot and horny over this franchise. So I am going to play them eventually. I was very torn on which one to remake and which one to erase. I've decided I'm going to remake Mega Man Legends because while it was a cool game, it really does need the facelift. And I'm unfortunately erasing Mega Man Battle Network. I am really enjoying it. Playing it right now, it's a lot of fun. But I've never played Zero, and I got to see what the hype is. And I just can't be convinced that Battle Network needs a facelift more than Legends. It doesn't. Legends needs a makeover. So I'm sorry, Battle Network, because I really like you. All right? Thanks, everyone that wrote in, as always. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to pause here for a quick word from our sponsor, okay? Then when we get back, I'll tell you what I was playing over my week on holidays, and then it's all Mega Man 2 chat, okay? So we will be right back after this. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right. If you didn't know, I took last week off. It was kind of a last minute thing. I just needed a break, man. I've been dealing with a car accident. I'm fine, by the way. Appreciate everyone that asked. I'm totally fine. Just dealing with the insurance fallout. Someone rear-ended me and my car's fucked and blah, blah. Also, over the last 7 days, Shaylee and I, we still have 2 I's to dot. But looks like we sold our house and bought a new one over 7 days. Actually, we did it over like 24 hours. It was wild. So that's exciting. We're going to be moving at the end of August. But outside of dealing with that stuff, honestly, I just took a week. I read a book and a half. And then I just played video games. So I've been playing Dave the Diver. I can't stop playing that game. We're going to review it on Expansion Pass when I'm done it. Dave the Diver is fantastic. I also have been playing The Last of Us Part 2, which has just been a playthrough for me. I've already reviewed it on Expansion Pass. I have no need to review it. I just haven't played it since it came out, so I'm replaying it now. I don't know why people don't like that game. It's not as good as the first one, but it's a good fucking game. I've been playing Mass Effect 3, the Legendary Edition on my Steamer for an upcoming episode of Remember the Game. Buddy, the Mass Effect games are so fucking good. If you have not played them, play the Mass Effect games. 2 is, I think, still my favorite, but I'm really enjoying this playthrough of Mega Man 3. Pardon me, of Mass Effect 3, excuse me. And then, as I mentioned, I've been replaying Mega Man 2 to get ready for this episode, and then I've been playing Nintendo World Championships, but I'm pretty well done. I've S-tiered everything. Now when the new challenges drop, I play them for a day, and then I'm like, it needs more meat on the bone, as they say. But it's been fun. I'll review that probably next week on Expansion Pass, the Nintendo World Championships. So that's what I've been playing. There you go. All right, let's get into Mega Man 2. Now, normally, I like to give the patrons a chance to sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. However, I don't have a guest this week, so you're going to be my guest. I'm just going to read some of the Patreon comments about Mega Man 2 while I give you my Mega Man 2 review, all at the same time in a neat little package. It's true. Sorry if it sounded sarcastic. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I don't even know which song it's going to be because fuck, the music in this game is so good. All I know is for sure I'm playing the Dr. Wily 1 music somewhere. May have already done it, maybe doing it here, maybe doing it later. But that music is coming. All I know is I'm going to queue up some phenomenal Mega Man 2 music right now. And when it stops, all of you are going to join me as I take another look at one of my all-time favorite video games, Mega Man 2, which originally released on the NES in North America in June of 1989. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, let's dive into some Mega Man. You know, it's funny. When I was getting ready to record this, I was just going back through the archive. I wanted to see what episode we first covered Mega Man 2 on. And it really was, Remember the Game, episode 5. So if this had gone live next week, as I'd initially intended, it would have been 300 episodes since we talked Mega Man 2. That's fucking... I remember recording this first episode, so that's crazy. It was with my buddy David Ray. But I'm solo this week, and this is not the first Mega Man episode of the show that I've done by myself. And it's not that I don't have friends that also like Mega Man that could come on the show. Admittedly, this week was a little bit different because we really did want to cover Donkey Kong 64, and this was a last-minute pivot. We were planning to do this one next week, and had we done it in 7 days, I might have had a guest here. But also, like, Mega Man is one of those few franchises, and I love this series so much, and particularly Mega Man 2 and 3. Like, I love these games so much that I'm like, I can do these ones by myself, and it's going to be just fine. A lot of the time when it's a new game that I'm covering here on the show, a new game for myself, I need a guest on the show with me because maybe they've got more experience with the game than me, or even if they just played through it for the first time, sometimes it's nice to just have a guest to kick ideas, kick the ball, as they say, back and forth with, you know, and toss things around. But I'm like, if there's one franchise, with the exception of Mario, that I could sit here and just talk to myself to and be comfortable doing it, it is fucking Mega Man. I'm so excited to be talking Mega Man 2 again. I I don't remember what my first experience with Mega Man was. I never owned, the only one I ever owned growing up was Mega Man 5 V on the Game Boy. I never owned any of the NES ones. I didn't own any of the Super Nintendo ones. Whenever we go to rent games, usually if it wasn't Ninja Turtles, I was going looking for Mega Man. I didn't even care which one. I would rent all of them. But I think my first Mega Man was 3 because I vividly remember seeing it in a magazine. An issue of I don't know if it was Nintendo Power, it probably was. And just thinking how fucking cool it looked. It's that character select screen that really hooked me. Seeing especially because I have the goofy eye, but even without my eye, just seeing Mega Man in between those 8 faces and the way he's glaring all 8 of them down and trying to figure out order to tackle them. I love everything about these games. The soundtracks, the difficulty, the way they play, the robot masters taking their weapons, using them on other robots. I like the story. I love everything about them. And Mega Man 3 is where I started, and I still think 3 is maybe my favorite because it's more challenging, and I like that it introduced the slide and rush, but you still don't have the Mega Buster. Mega Man 2 is clearly where this series took off. It took everything 1 did and just quintupled it in the best way possible. As I mentioned during the infamous intro, instead of reading your listener comments during that part, I've just worked a bunch of them into my review, and I'm going to talk about them as I work my way through this game. And I will warn you, this one might be a little bit different than most Remember the Games, because a lot of them aren't intended for me to come across like I really know what I'm talking about. Just sharing the stuff I like and don't like about the games. But with this game, because I've talked about how much I love Mega Man for so long now, I am just going to kind of work you through the game the way I like to play it, talk about the things I like and don't like about it as I play through and all that kind of stuff. But I have a ton of your comments to read as well. The Patreons wrote in. JD the 13th said, it's in my top 3 games of all time. It's how I discovered your show, actually, looking for a retro gaming podcast talking about games like this. And it has the best music ever, hands down. I agree. Mega Man has the best music ever, hands down. I gotta say, dude, it warms my heart how many of you wrote into the show and said you found the podcast looking for shows about Mega Man. It just tickles my pickle to know that I'm not the only one out there that loves this little blue bastard that much. That really, it's one thing when you find the show because you're like, I was looking for an episode about BioShock or fucking, I don't know, Toe Jam and Earl. I don't know if anyone's ever looked for an episode about Toe Jam and Earl. But when I hear my fellow Mega Manites finding the show because of this, that does it for me. Like I said, I think 2 and 3 are the best of the 6 OG NES Mega Man games. Quite frankly, if you take the entire 11 game mainline Mega Man, we're not talking Mega Man X or Battle Network or any of the spin-offs, just the core 11 mainline Mega Man games. And I'm not going to spoil my whole ranking because I've ranked all 11 of them on an episode of Expansion Pass that you can find at patreon.com/remember the game. But I think 2, 3, and 9 are the top 3. And you can decide the order however you want. But when you're talking the original 6 NES Mega Mans, I think 2 and 3 are easily the best. 1 is a little archaic, and I don't dislike 4, 5, and 6. But I think 2 and 3 was when the franchise was at its best. Nick Finnegan said, I've never played a Mega Man game until the ripe old age of 39 after hearing you say how much you love Mega Man 2. And guess what? I also bloody love it. Great game with tight controls, just the right level of difficulty, and banging music. I've tried to play Mega Man 1 and 3 afterwards, and I can't complete either. So Mega Man 2 will forever be my favorite. Yeah, I think Mega Man 2 is comfort food Mega Man. It's like Mega Man X. I'm not saying that Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X are easy games because they're not. They take surprise. If you've never played them, Mega Man 2 will fuck you up for a little while. Well, I get to learn the boss order and all that kind of stuff. But I look at Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X like my comfort food Mega Man games. They don't give me too much trouble. I know the order I want to tackle them in now. I said I played through this game twice on Sunday. Once on normal and once on difficult just to get ready for this review. And it was less than an hour per playthrough. And I'm not a speedrunner by any stretch of the imagination. I don't even consider myself particularly good at these games. I just like playing them. But Mega Man 2 and Mega Man X are comfort food games. And when you're talking the OG Mega Mans, Mega Man 2, for my money, is easily the most welcoming to a new player. Maybe Mega Man 5. I think Mega Man 4 and 5 are kind of easy as well. But I think 2 is where people ask me all the time, where should I start? And I'm like, Mega Man 2. 1 is a little rough around the edges, and 3 will fuck you up. 2 is beatable, though. Wolfgang Darren said, this was my first Mega Man game and the one I spent the most time with. I own the original cartridge for it, but I buy it on the anniversary or collections list every time it pops up. It's like your first love. It's not always the best, but it's the one you'll never forget. Aww. I also love Mega Man. It's okay. And Craig Brown said, you can fall in love with Mega Man 2 just by listening to that soundtrack. Luckily, the gameplay is equally as good. Most Mega Man games I've tried have been frustratingly tough, but this one hits the sweet spot. Yeah, like I said, I think 3 alone. 3 is, like, 1 is tough, but I think part of the reason Mega Man 1 is tough is because they were still figuring out what the blueprint was. And there's some design flaws in Mega Man 1. And great game, but some design flaws. And Mega Man 3, well, I think it's spectacular. It will fuck you up. It is substantially less forgiving than Mega Man 2 goes. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of the easier ones. It's the one I recommend people start with. And there's multiple reasons for that. Number one, there's a lot of improvements over the OG Mega Man. Because I think some people that have never played Mega Man go out and pick up a Legacy collection after listening to any episode, not even just my show, but just, they watch a view, whatever. You hear about Mega Man and you're like, I'd like to give this thing a shot. And the Mega Man Legacy collection is a great deal. It's always on sale. And you get the OG 6 Mega Man games with save states and rewinds and all that kind of stuff. But I'm assuming most people pick it up and they think to start with 1. I really would skip 1. Go back later if you want to, but start with number 2. First of all, I know this isn't going to change how much the game, like the difficulty or anything. I love that Mega Man 2 shifted from 6 bosses to 8. If you've never played the original game, it has 6 bosses. Iceman, Fireman, Cutman, Gutsman, Bombman, and Elecman. Election or electric, that's for you to decide. Whereas Mega Man 2 makes the shift to the 8 Robot Masters. That has been tradition ever since. That's a big deal to me. I like having the 8. 6, like, it's like I hate Mega Man games where you only get to fight 4 bosses and then you have to fight the other 4. Just give me all 8 and let me figure it out for myself. I'm a big fan of that. I also don't think Mega Man 2 is nearly as cheap as Mega Man 1. And I don't mean from a cost standpoint. I mean from a difficulty standpoint. It is still a little bit fucky, and we're going to get into that later. There's a couple portions of Mega Man 2, particularly needing the bubble beam, or whatever the fuck it's called, lead bubble, whatever the fuck, the Bubble Man gun to fight the final boss, and then that fucking laser beam thing with the crash bombs, which you know what I'm talking about, we'll get there. That is bullshit. But in Mega Man 1, there's like a semi-hidden item, and if you don't pick it up while you're playing through the game, then you'll get to Dr. Wily's castle and then realize you literally can't beat it because you didn't find this semi-hidden item. There's nothing quite as ridiculous as that in Mega Man 2. So that's a big improvement. I just think it looks substantially better than Mega Man 1. They took everything they did in Mega Man 1 and shined it up, and it looks good. It just plays better. The levels are better designed. It feels better. It feels tighter. It has E-tanks. I know some will argue that they make the game a little bit easy. Fair enough. I'm a fan of them. If you never played it, basically it's like a health kit. And in Mega Man 2, in Mega Man 1, they don't exist. In Mega Man 2, you can pick up to 4 of them and carry them with you. And then if you're in a boss fight or in a pinch, you can break one out and refill your health. And I like that they're optional. If you think that they make the game too easy, then don't touch them. But if you need a little bit of help, and occasionally I do, then they're there and they can help you out. I'm a big fan. They just became a Mega Man staple. So I'm a big fan of the E-tanks. Just basically everything Mega Man 1 did, Mega Man 2 did better. Haga Waffle said phenomenal NES game. Double the Mega Man from Mega Man 1. Yeah. 8 bosses instead of 6. It's not quite as cheap. It looks better. It plays better. Not nearly as difficult. E-tanks are involved. It just does everything a little bit better than 1. So if you want to start with the franchise, I really recommend you start with Mega Man 2. Billy O Blueslink said, my uncle had this game on his iPhone, and he would let me play it when I was a tiny little kid. I got caught up in the music, the ingenious gameplay, and the fun power-ups, and I've never looked back since. I've since owned it on many other platforms, and I plan to continue to play it on anything it comes out on in the future. This was the game that made me a Mega Man diehard, and will always hold a sacred place in my heart. I have to say, I read that comment partially because I know you're a fan, Billy O, and partially because I can't fathom playing Mega Man 2 on my fucking iPhone. I know it's on there. Maybe if you've got a controller, like one of those, they fucking sponsored me at one point. I can't remember their name now. It's driving me crazy. It's like the white controller you drop your phone into, whatever the fuck it's called. Maybe if you've got a controller around the outside, but like to play Mega Man 2 with touch controls, that seems like blasphemy to me. I can't imagine. Now, I rarely do history lessons about the creation of video games on this show, but I love Mega Man so much that I like to read a lot about Mega Man. And if you didn't know, after they created the first game, it sold enough that they were like, we should do a second one. Capcom was meh. Some of the executives wanted, some of them didn't. So they told the development team, you can make a second Mega Man game, but it's only if you keep working on the other games as well, and it's kind of a side project. So they burned the fucking midnight oil. They've said they worked like 20-hour days for 3 to 4 months or something to make Mega Man 2, which I think is fucking crazy too. Imagine churning out what many people would consider to be one of the greatest video games of all time in like 4 months, and you're doing it on your night shift because you're working on other games during the day. This was a full-blown passion project, and I think it shows in the game 100%. Not that Mega Man 1 isn't bad, and not that future Mega Mans are bad. I like all these. 8 I could take or leave, but the games are good. But I don't know, maybe I just have the rose-colored glasses on because I'm such a fan, but I really see the love and the passion that went to Mega Man 2. It was like they invented like a cake recipe with Mega Man 1, and then they stayed at the factory all night or wherever the fuck you make cake, working on the recipe until they fucking just perfected it. I like a couple of things about Mega Man 2 over the future games. I like that we don't have the Mega Buster yet. That gets introduced in Mega Man 4, I believe. And I don't hate it, being able to just charge up the big Mega Buster and shoot it off whenever you want. But I prefer just being able to use the pea shooter. Just those little lemon pellets that Mega Man shoots. Call me old, but call me old-fashioned, but I liked it better when all he could shoot was lemons. I like that better. There's no rush yet, which is another reason that I actually like Mega Man 3 better. Mega Man 3 introduced the slide and rush your dog, which is awesome. This one does give you more gadgets than just that stupid missable beam of Mega Man 1, but they're just considered item 1, 2, and 3. You don't have a dog yet. And I can assure you, friends, life improves exponentially when you get a dog. The story to Mega Man 2 is that Dr. Wily is back, and if you didn't know in the first one, if I'm not mistaken, he kind of reprogrammed 6 robot masters that he and Dr. Light created and made them go bad. This time, he actually just created 8 robot masters of his own. I think 2 has a fantastic set of bosses. Frankly, I think Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2 have the 2 best overall sets of bosses, robot masters, in any Mega Man game. As much as I love like Steak Man and Skull Man and Pharaoh Man and some of the future ones, Acid Man from 11 is awesome. Every other game I feel like has at least one dud. Mega Man 3 had Top Man. Top Man is the fucking worst. What a crap. I mean, not the worst, but pretty close. There's actually an episode of Expansion Pass where I ranked every robot master in Mega Man 2. Not Mega Man 2, but in all the Mega Man games. But Top Man fucking sucks. I don't think there's a dud in Mega Man 2. So that's what I'm going to do to break them down and talk about each of them, is just tell you the order I like to play Mega Man 2 through, and I'll kind of break down the weapons, the robot masters, levels, if there's something to talk about them, kind of all at the same time. Blobby Rogers said, by and large, this is the pinnacle of the original Mega Man franchise. Maybe I'm a little partial to it being the first game I bought new with my own money, thanks Grandma, and the first game I beat without any adult intervention. The multiple, although somewhat limited boss order, Metal Blade, we didn't deserve you, made absolute sense from one master to the next. Flash Man would beat Quick Man, Metal Man would beat Wood Man, Heat Man would beat Wood Man. You get the idea. The memorable music, colors, sprites, backgrounds. There's absolutely nothing about Mega Man 2 that doesn't fuck. I have to say, I didn't know. I have never tried to use Heat Man's weapon on Wood Man. I don't know if that is a typo or if that's because I've always used Metal Man on Wood Man. I've never tried Heat Man. Maybe I have to try that. Anyways, I agree. Yes, absolutely nothing about Metal Mega Man 2 that doesn't fuck. With the exception of a couple of those bosses at the end that can fuck you over. So I guess by definition, they do fuck as well. So I'm going to break down the order that I like to go through, okay? It's Super Garbage Day, said, every year I beat this game with the Buster on its own. It's so fun, and it makes playing the game normally quite easy. I also find that most of the boss fights in Mega Man 2 easier than 1 or 3. The Mega Buster seems to do reasonable damage to most of the bosses in the game, and a lot of their attacks aren't very hard to dodge either. So I agree with that. Sorry, I know I'm reading a lot of comments, but we got a lot of comments on this game, and it's not often I get a chance to just work them into the reviews, and I love seeing how many people love this game as much as I do. Nick W. said, fantastic. I love that game. Mega Man 2 has the best soundtrack of the Mega Mans. The levels are fantastic, and the Metal Blade is one of the best weapons, which it is. And Carter Barco said, Adam turned me on to the Blue Bomber, and I bought both the collections on Switch. I love 2 and 3, but I think 2 is better. It's tough but rewarding, and it aged very well for an NES game. I also love that Metal Metal Blade. Yeah, I think most traditionalist Mega Man 2 players will recommend starting with Metal Man because he's very cool. His level's cool. You get an E-Tank right out of the gate. He's pretty easy to beat, even with just the Mega Buster. And his weapon, Metal Blade, is undeniably not only the most powerful Robot Master weapon in Mega Man 2, but maybe in the history of Mega Man altogether. When you beat Metal Man, who is awesome design, by the way, he's got that awesome like saw blade on his forehead, and he whips circular saw blades at you, and he looks cool, but when you beat him, which is very easy, he just throws 3 blades at you at a time and then jumps around like an asshole a little bit. So just stand to the end of the screen, jump over his blades if they're low, just keep blasting, you'll kill him in 2 or 3 rotations. He's very simple. Once you beat Metal Man, you get your hands on his circular saw blades, his metal blades that you can throw. And what makes them so fucking OP in this game is that A, you can throw them in all 8 directions. When you shoot the Mega Buster, it's straightforward and that is it. With the metal blades, it's up, down, left, right, or diagonal, any of the 4 directions. And they pretty well fuck up like 90% of the enemies in the game, and they hardly draw any weapon energy ever. So if you want to, once you beat Metal Man and have your hands on Metal Blade, you can just use that to replace the Mega Buster altogether and just beat the game with Metal Blade. It's like very few. There's a few enemies, like those bastards on those giant robot stilts, that Metal Blade won't hurt, but for by and large, you can just run through the game with Metal Blade now. So always start with Metal Man. Once you beat Metal Man, I know some people go to Bubble Man. I go to Wood Man, who I think is one of the cooler designs in this game as well. He's like a heifer with a tree stump for a body and another tree stump for a head, and he makes a shield of leaves around him, like a circle of leaves that he then throws at you, and then he also makes leaves fall from the sky. So to beat him, you just switch over to Metal Blade. All you do is jump over his shield whenever he throws it at you, dodge the few leaves that are falling from the sky, and as soon as he throws his shield, hit the ground, and just start whipping blades. You'll kill him in 2 or 3 attacks. I also believe this is, no, because there is no shield in Mega Man 1. This is the first time that one of Mega Man's weapons becomes a shield, and that kind of becomes a tradition. Like Starman gives it to you, Skullman gives it to you, Junkman gives it to you. There's a whole bunch of future Mega Man bosses that will all give you a shield, but Woodman is the first, and I will always consider him the coolest. Well, Skullman is pretty fucking cool, but I've always been a big fan of Woodman and the Leaf Shield just because that's tradition. And that can come in pretty handy later on in the game. So I go to Woodman after Metal Man, then I go to Airman, who I frankly think is maybe the coolest design in the game. He's a giant, I used to have a little action figure of him when I was a kid, and I thought it was the best. He's like a giant blue triangle guy whose stomach/mouth is just a big fan. And so he can blow you around or suck you in with his fan, but all he does when you fight him is he shoots a wall of little tornadoes at you, and he's very easy to fight because you just go to your Leaf Shield, that's his weakness, get into his area, and once that little metal door closes, he'll do 3 attacks where he'll throw 3 waves of tornadoes at you. All you have to do is jump over him and dodge him. If 1 or 2 hits you, it's really not the end of the world. And then he'll jump across the screen at you, and all you really have to do is stay against the back of the screen that he's going to jump over to. Just start mashing Leaf Shield, and you'll kill him in 2 or 3 attacks. Very, very easy. I do find his stage to be a little bit annoying. It's one of the first levels in the game that irritates me just a hint. There's a lot of platforming, and there's a lot of spots. It's Airman. So you're up in the air, jumping across those giant purple, pink, I don't know what the fuck they're, big ugly heads that spit out the little ugly heads, and they have the 2 spikes that come out. If you're moving ass, you can get across them without really touching those spikes. But when you're still just learning the game and learning how it platforms, when Mega Man takes damage, he kind of bounces back a few inches or a few, I don't know what it is on the screen, millimeters, I guess, on the screen. And it can be very easy to accidentally take a little bit of damage and get bumped off an edge in there and lose a life or 2. So his level irritates me a little bit, but I think Airman looks really cool. So I go there next. Once I'm done with Airman, I go to Crashman. He has like white points. There's a voice crack. White points for hands and 1 on his head. And I don't know, he looks cool. His level fucking drives me crazy, though. I think I literally just played through this game twice. I'm pretty sure Crashman is the level where it starts out in like daylight and then you're climbing up into like I don't know if it's like outer space or like the night sky or whatever the fuck, but you're constantly climbing ladders, and there's these stupid birds that come along and drop these eggs. And if the eggs land on the ground at all, then they shatter. And then like 8 little mini birds come at you, and they can be a great way to just hang out and farm health and weapon energy, especially if you're using Metal Blade as you should be and just whipping it at them. But they can be a real pain in the ass because those birds hit you and they knock you down the ladders. Then you got to climb back up that bucket. That's probably my least favorite. If it's not his level, then I stand corrected, but I'm pretty sure that's Crash Man's level. His level irritates me the most of the 8 in the game. Then when you actually get to fight him, all he does is jumps really high around the screen, and he starts whipping his mines with white spikes on them at you. And then when they hit the ground, they stick for a second or like dig in, and then they cause like an explosion. But he's really easy to beat, especially with Airman's weapon, because he jumps really high, and he's weak against Airman tornadoes, because when you shoot that, you just shoot out 3 little tornadoes that kind of gradually arc up into the sky. So all you really need to do is wait for him to jump towards you and then get underneath them, crash, hit him with 2 or 3 tornadoes. He's gone. Easy peasy. So now you've got 4 of the weapons in the game. All right, now I need a drink of water. So I'm going to pause here. I'm going to let a sponsor in to peddle their wares. It'd be awesome if it was a Mega Man sponsor, but I don't think I have any of those. And then when I get back, I'll go through the other 4 and my strategies for Wily's Castle. Okay, so we'll be right back after this. All right, so once you're done with Crash Man, I go to Flash Man. He's probably the most generic looking boss in the game. He's just a big blue buff guy. Kind of looks like Duff Man, or I kind of looks like Junkman too. I don't know. He's kind of a lame boss, but his attack is awesome. His attack is to freeze time and Mega Man. And when he uses it, you can't really dodge it. All he'll do is freeze you, and then you just get stuck in place for a few seconds, and he'll either run into you or he'll use a pea shooter similar to Mega Man's, but more rapid fire, and he'll hit you with it a couple of times, and then that's it. Now, as far as I know, Metal Blade will fuck him up, but I've always used Crash Man's bombs on him. And 2 or 3 crash bombs and he's gone and it's over. But you can also use Metal Blade, probably a more useful way to take him down, because the Metal Blade goes through. He fights you on like a staired. It's like a whole bunch of little stairs, so you're always on a different level height wise than he is. And Crash Bomb won't go through those, so they just stick to the first stair they hit, whereas Metal Blade will go right through walls and get him no matter where he is. So take out Flash Man, then you go to Quick Man, who also might be the coolest looking boss in this game, other than maybe Woodman, in my opinion. Quick Man's dope. He has this awesome looking yellow boomerang on his head that he's actually on the box art, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But he also has this cool thing where when you're on the level select screen, the 8 boxes around Mega Man's head, Quick Man's like boomerang sticks out of his box a little bit. And I know it's like a nothing burger, but I think it looks really cool. The level select screen as a whole in this game is so much better than Mega Man 1. Because in Mega Man 1, you just have the 6 bosses, and there's no like Mega Man head in the middle. You just go around the 6 bosses, pick one, and fight them. And it's like their actual pixel, like it's just them standing there. Whereas in Mega Man 2, we shifted to the tradition of like the zoomed in face, like headshots of each of the 8 bosses with Mega Man's head in the middle, like looking at them as he's looking around. And I'm just a huge fan of that title screen. I've always wanted to piece some Remember the Game merch art, where it'd be my head in the middle with 8 things I hate about video games around the outside. I know there's a lot of copyright laws you'd have to work around there, but I think that would look really fucking cool. I love the level select screen in this game. Timmy the Exuberant Turtle said, well, I tend to give Mega Man 3 the edge. Quick Man has one of the most adrenaline pumping stages in the entire franchise. Yeah, Quick Man stage is dope. There's a couple of parts in Quick Man stage where you'll like fall into a screen, and then these insta-death laser beams just start firing from the left and the right, and all you need to do is platform yourself to the bottom of the screen as fast as possible, and one mistake and those beams will touch you and they're an instant death, and then you need to start over again. I know some will argue that's a little bit cheap, but instant death has been a part of Mega Man forever. The spikes underwater, the spikes above ground, all that kind of stuff, falling into pits. So these laser beams are no different. You can use Flashman's slowdown weapon to stop the laser beams if you're struggling with them, but I recommend saving them, because when you actually get to the Quick Man fight, hit him with Flashman's Time Stopper, and if Flashman's Time Stopper's weapon energy is full, you'll drain half of Quick Man's health just like that. Then you can just use the Mega Buster, hit him a few times, and he's done. It's a very easy fight. So then once I'm done with Quick Man, then I go to Bubble Man. You can go to Bubble Man right after Metal Man if you want, because he's weak against Metal Blade. I just always go to him later. I don't know why. It's just the way I like to play the game. And I think Bubble Man is one of the cooler looking villains in this game too, because he looks like an evil scuba diver, and he's the classic underwater level. Normally I hate underwater levels, anything to do with swimming or anything like that, but I quite enjoy Mega Man underwater because I like doing those really big zero gravity jumps and how it feels. The same as when you're in outer space and stuff like that. You got to dodge the insta-death spike balls that are all over the ceiling and the walls and everything like that. I also think Bubble Man has the coolest little mini bosses, like I guess you'd even call them in this game, those giant pink fish with the antenna coming out of the top that spit shrimp at you. And when they bark, they shoot shrimp at you. And you have to blow up the antenna, then you blow up those guys. Bubble Man himself is just a total... The level is cool. Bubble Man himself is a total pussy. All you know, just jump around and blows bubbles at you. You have to be wary of the spikes at the very top of the screen. If you hold jump all the way, you'll probably go up and hit him. But otherwise, just stay to the floor, hit him with half a dozen metal blades. He's dead, easy peasy. And then I wrapped my 8 bosses up with Heat Man. I know some do them earlier. I save them till the end because I like having the crash bombs in his level because you can blow up some walls and make the level a little bit easier. I like having metal blade or wood shield to deal with those single hit, floating, rotating, I don't know what the fuck they are. They look like metallic Oreo cookies with eyes. And they're very easy to kill with Metal Blade or the Wood Shield. And then this is the only segment, as far as I can remember, of Mega Man 2 where it has the disappearing and reappearing blocks that you have to memorize the pattern of and jump from one to another to get across a hole. And you get to do it 3 or 4 times without really worrying about falling into a pit too much. Then there's a big long session where you have to go across lava. That's an instant death if you miss one jump on those blocks and fall into it. So just do what we all do, and that is use item 2. Because as I mentioned, in place of rush in this game, you just get item 1, item 2, item 3. Item 1 are floating platforms you can use to jump off and on into each other. Item 3 is this cool little platform that'll grab a wall and scurry up it. So if you jump on top of item 3, you can ride it up the wall. And then item 2 is basically Rush Jet. It's like a hoverboard. You put it down, you stand on it, and you just fly to the left or the right until you run out of energy and hit a wall. So if you've got item 2, which you'll have if Heat Man's your last boss, just use item 2, fly across, and you don't have to do any of the bricks to jump on. It's a piece of cake. Heat Man himself looks awesome. He's like a giant Zippo lighter, and he throws fireballs up in the air, and then when they hit the ground, they make little burning spots for a minute you can't touch. And then when he takes damage, he turns into a fireball and charges at you. So all you need to do is just hit him with, I use the quick boomerang or the bubble, it doesn't matter. Bubble is faster, I think. But all you have to do is hit him with, like, dodge his first 3 fireballs he throws at you, hit him with an item, and then just wait for him to charge at you, jump over him, and then hit him again, and he'll charge at you. And as long as you're hitting him as soon as he comes out of his charge, he never throws his fireballs up in the air. Super easy fight, rinse and repeat, bada bing, bada boom. And now you've killed all 8 Robot Masters. Bookerman 102 wrote into the show and said, Mega Man 2, definitely more than a flash in the pan. Although a relatively quick game, it turns up the heat in a way that can only be described as a crash of metal and wood. Playing it felt like being trapped in a bubble of goodness. Who needs fresh air when you could have been playing Mega Man 2? I applaud your ingenious comment, Bookerman 102, to work all 8 of the Robot Masters into that. But I also have to say you're on double secret probation for 8. I don't know if those are considered puns, but I ban puns. So double secret probation for that. Well done. Very clever comment, but double secret probation. Now, once you've beat the 8 Robot Masters, this doesn't give you the option to go back and replay the levels of the enemies you've beaten and grind for E-tanks or anything like that. There's no hidden items that you have to go back and find. You just basically have to, like, because in Mega Man 1, I don't even remember where that... Just in case you're wondering, when I play Mega Man 1, I go Bomb Man, Guts Man, Cut Man, Elect Man, Ice Man, Fire Man. And if you go in that order, you won't miss the secret item you need for Dr. Wily's stage. But if you did miss it, you can go back and replay levels and find it. Whereas in Mega Man, but you can't because you go to Wily's castle, then you realize that you fucked yourself and don't have that item, and then you have to restart the game. It's bullshit. In Mega Man 2, there's nothing missable in the levels outside of E-tanks that are everywhere. But once you beat the 8 Robot Masters, there is no choice to go back into those 8 levels and grind for E-tanks. It just drops you right into Dr. Wily's castle, and then you're off to the races. So... I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that idea, but at the same time, there's not a lot of reason to go back and replay the levels. I have to say, I don't love Wily's Castle in Mega Man 2. If I have criticisms of the game, they're about to come up in the next 10 or 15 minutes here. Awesome music, though. The first... Dude, I'm going to play it at the end of this game chat. The first music that plays in Dr. Wily's Castle in Mega Man 2 is probably my favorite Mega Man song ever that isn't from Mega Man X. It is so fucking good, and you're going to hear it in a few minutes here. It's so fucking good. But there are a few segments in Dr. Wily's Castle in Mega Man 2 that rely on those 1, 2, and 3 items. And if you fuck up and run out of weapon energy in them, then you either have to game over and then continue with full energy and everything, or go back and kill enemies and grind for weapon energy to refill them. And it's very, very annoying. The levels, I find all the levels in this game short, including the levels in in Dr. Wily's Castle. But that's not a bad thing. Quality over quantity. Yeah, that's the good over the long. And while they are good quality, they are kind of short levels. So the first level of Mega Man or Dr. Wily's Castle, it requires you right near the beginning, you have to use item 3 to scurry up the wall. So again, you need to have some energy in that. And then there's a part where you climb a ladder. And then when the camera pans up to the next screen, there's in the bottom right corner, there's the ladder you climbed. And in the top left corner, there's a ladder you need to climb. And then there's nothing telling you how to get to it. So the way to get to it is to use item 1 and create platforms to build yourself a bridge to climb up. But you can only make 3 platforms at a time. So when I do it, I instantly create 1, 2, 3, get up to the third one. As soon as the first one disappears, I create a new one. And then I've built a little staircase that I can get to that ladder. But if you run out of energy in item 1 or in item 3 when you need to go up those walls, then it's fucking hike back down, find some enemies, kill them over and over again until they drop weapon energy. I'm really not a huge fan of that mechanic. I guess they didn't really have a choice, like why else put those items in there? But I find it very frustrating if you run out of fuck up, and especially when you're learning the game, if you fuck up and run out of weapon energy, it can be a real pain in the ass. I don't like it I don't mind it if there's a way to do it faster using one of those items, but I hate when it's like that's the only way, and if you fuck up and run out, you're SOL. That irritates me a little bit. The boss for the first Dr. Wily level is the Green Dragon, which I think, frankly, is maybe the most iconic boss fight in Mega Man 2. You'll be like jumping across these platforms just in a black void space, and then all of a sudden the camera will start auto-scrolling and this big green robotic dragon pops up at the back of the screen, and then you need to haul ass jumping from block to block to block, and if you miss a block you fall to your death, and then by the time you get to the end of that area there's 3 blocks you can climb up and down on, and then the dragon gets a health meter and starts fighting you. He spits fire at you, and if he hits you it knocks you backwards. So I highly recommend, if you're new to the game, get to the top of the 3 blocks, because then if he hits you you'll bounce backwards, but you'll usually land on the second block and you can climb back up. If you go down to the bottom one, A, it's harder to hit him in the head where you need to hit him to kill him, and B, if the fireballs hit you and knock you backwards, you're gonna die. All you gotta do is switch to quick boomerang and just start fucking mashing it, hitting him in the head, and you'll kill him in about 10 seconds. Really cool boss. One of the coolest bosses in that game. And I think, frankly, for an old school, like, when did this game come out? 1989? It's a pretty impressive boss fight for an NES game from 1989. The way the screen goes. So I think that's why the background and everything is solid black. It just makes it run smoother, but it runs really smooth. So you kill the dragon. The second boss in Dr. Wily, you fall down into this like giant tank of, it's almost like you're in a giant glass jar made of these purple blocks, and then 2 purple blocks at a time that are opposite ends of each other will come together to form a little machine, and then that machine will attack you. And you can either hit it with bubbles to kill it fast, or use metal blade, because you can aim it anywhere. 2 or 3 metal blades will kill one. You blow up all the blocks and you kill the boss. It's very, very easy. Boss 3 is a giant Gutsman tank, and I'm a huge fan of that boss fight because I love the callback to Gutsman, who's one of the most iconic robot masters in Mega Man history. So it's like a giant tank with Gutsman from Mega Man 1's head. He's also pretty simple. All you need to do is jump up on his platform and then look out for the little things he shoots at you and just jump up and down and mash him with a quick boomerang, and you'll kill him pretty quickly as well. I know I'm kind of glossing over the levels, but outside of the frustrating parts where you need to use the items to get past them, I find the levels pretty forgettable in Dr. Wily's Castle, honestly. Ocelot of Woe said, this game will always be one of my favorites. It was the first game I ever finished. As much as I love it, I do hate the Dr. Wily level where you have to use the crash bombs to blow up the barricades, and those guns can kiss my ass. Yeah, for my money, the single biggest flaw in Mega Man 2 is the stupid 4th boss in Dr. Wily's Castle. If you've never played it, you go through the metal door, and then you're just in this room. And all there is there's 5, they look like those security cameras, like the glass ball security cameras you see like a casino and stuff. There's like 5 of them on the walls throughout this room, and the only weapon that can hurt them is Crash Bomb. So you'd think, well, that's not hard. All they do is every few seconds they blink lights simultaneously, and then they all shoot a little laser beam at you. It's pretty easy to dodge. So you're probably thinking, well, that's not too bad. Just go around the room, hit those 5 lasers with 5 crash bombs, and you're gold. But there's like 5 or 6 of those special walls that can be blown up with crash bombs. Some of them need to be blown up, some of them don't. You only get 8 or 9 shots, I think, out of a crash bomb with full energy. So the problem with that boss fight is if you fuck up when you're learning the pattern to take out these 5 lasers and maybe blow up a wall or 2 that you don't have to, or you miss once or twice and cash in your crash bombs, you don't have enough weapon energy to defeat the boss. Then you literally just have to let it kill you, go back out to the level, go looking for enemies, go grinding for weapon energy to fill it up, or die, game over, and continue back at the beginning of the level where you have full health again, and then work your way back through the level. It's a real, if you've played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Once you know the order of how to take them out, it's not that bad, but it is a real nuisance. And if you've never played it before and you get to that boss and realize you've only got 4 or 5 shots and you need 6 or 7 to win, then you're fucked. There is no other strategy. And as I said with the weapon or the item 1 and 3 back in the first level, that irritates me. I think there should always be a plan B. I find that boss fight irritates the fuck out of me. Not that it's hard, but just when I was replaying it, I fucked up and accidentally used a shot early and didn't have enough shots to do it and had to fucking die and game over and come back and do it again. And I was fucking angry, man. It was my own fault, but that's a frustrating boss fight. Until you know how to do it, then it's very easy. Morgan McDonald said, I love the first Mega Man so much. When I saw a preview of Mega Man 2 and Nintendo Power, I was obsessed with it. I called the video game store in my tiny town and the guy said it wasn't out yet. I called back constantly for what must have been weeks until finally they got some copies in and it did not disappoint. In fact, it was better than the first one in virtually every way. Oh man, refighting all the bosses in Wily's castle destroyed me so many times. Core childhood memory. Yeah, this game continues. In Mega Man 1, it's got the tradition where you refight all the robot masters in Wily's castle. But you fight 1 or 2 early, then you fight 4 in a row near the end. This one, you get into the room where, and this became a Mega Man tradition, right before you fight Dr. Wily, you just go into a room where there's 8 teleporters, and each of the 8 leads you to a rematch with one of the 8 robot masters. You don't know which one is which, but you have all 8 weapons. If you were paying attention while you were playing the game, you know what they're weak against. And like I said, I find the robot masters in this game easier than the robot masters in Mega Man 1 to begin with. Plus, this one's a little bit easier. Not shitting on you, Morgan. Like, I've died in here before as well. I'm not dunking on you for this, but I've died in here before as well. You have E-tanks in this one. Plus, every time you beat one of the 8 robot masters in the second part, they drop a huge energy item, one of the health pellets or whatever. So you can usually keep your health back up. And if you know their weaknesses, they're pretty easy. There's also one, I guess for lack of a better term, Easter egg weakness in here, which is awesome. When you rematch with Metal Man, hit him with a metal blade and you'll kill him in 1 shot. You hit him with 2 shots on difficult, hit him with 1 shot on normal, and you'll kill him, which I think is awesome. I believe, I've never done it, but I believe Heat Man will die to 1 charged up Heat Man shot as well. Maybe I'm wrong there, though. I've never done that. So you fight the 8 robot masters again. Then a 9th portal shows up. You go into that, and you match up with Dr. Wily, and he has 2 different forms. If you have an E-tank in the bank, this fight is really, really simple. If you don't, it does take a little bit of practice. All he's going to do is like move back and forth, and his first form shoots a laser beam at you one way, and then his second form shoots a laser beam at you another way. The second form is a little bit harder to dodge, but all you have to do is jump up and hit him in the face, or the cockpit of his machine, either with the Mega Buster or with a couple of different weapons. If you've never played it, use Crash Bomb in the first form if you've got some left, and then use Quick Boomerang on his second form, and you'll kill him pretty quickly. But if he kills you, then at least you restart after the 8 robot masters are dead. You just need to fight Wily again. But if he game overs you, then you need to go through the 8 robot masters again, I believe. So you fight him twice. It's really not too bad by a Dr. Wily fight. It's one of the easier ones. And now you're thinking you just beat the game, but not quite. Bing Chungus wrote in and said, how will we wash the taste of Donkey Kong 64 out of our mouths if Mega Man 2 came first? At least you showed one of the greatest games ever, some deserved respect, a top 5 for any Mega Man fan, better robot masters, the best weapon ever, and infinitely more forgiving than the first game. My only complaint is how cheap the one bubble boss fight in Dr. Wily's castle is if you wasted the only weapon that you can use against it. And yes, so you need to have enough energy in item 1 and item 3 to get through the first level. You need to have enough energy in Crash Man's bombs to beat that stupid laser grid boss. And then when you get to the final, once you beat Dr. Wily, it drops you into one last level. And all you have to do is run to the right and dodge these, I don't know what they are. They look like red lava drops that are just dripping from the ceiling. They're not hard to dodge. Dodge those and then go to a final chamber where Wily transforms into an alien who then flies around the room shooting power pellets at you. And he doesn't shoot very often, so his power pellets are pretty easy to dodge. But the only weapon in the game that hurts him is the bubble gun. So he floats in like it's kind of like a sideways figure 8. He'll go up and then down in the middle and then back up and then down in the middle. And all you need to do is wait for him to come down because the bubbles they basically, like you shoot them out and they basically just kind of flop forward and then roll on the ground. So you can't shoot them at him when he's up top. You need to wait for him to come down and then just hit him with bubble beams. Hit him with a dozen bubbles. You'll kill him. Game's over. But again, it's another one of those things where if you get there and it turns out for some reason you don't have any energy weapon left or any energy left in your bubble weapon, you literally cannot beat him. And unlike the other bosses, you can't even go back into the level and grind for energy because all there is those red lava drips and there's no way to get any weapon energy out of them. So if you get to that boss fight against the alien form and don't have enough bubble energy to kill him, you literally have to game over, continue with your weapons full, and then go in and fight him. As long as you have enough bubble energy, though, it's very easy to take him out. And then once you kill him, the lights come up, and then Wily reveals that he's just been driving this alien around and as part of a machine. Then the machine blows up, and then Wily begs for forgiveness, and then that's the end of the game. So I didn't intend on doing a walkthrough of it when I was reviewing it. I just figured it was the easiest way to cover everything in this game that I like. So a couple other quick notes on it before we wrap this game up. I like that this one has passwords. Mega Man 1 didn't. You had to beat it in one sitting, which was very tough. Or you just couldn't beat it. Whereas Mega Man 2 was the one that introduced a password system, the grid with the red dots and different grids. I think it's 6x6 or something. And red dots go into a few blocks. And so all you need to do is write down which blocks need to be filled with red dots, put them in, pick your game up where you left off. Huge fan of the password system. Obviously, battery saves are the way to go, but Mega Man has always relied on passwords, and that's better than nothing, especially when we're talking a late 80s NES game. That's fine. I also like that this game has 2 difficulty settings. Neither one is that hard by Mega Man standards, but you can play on normal or difficult. And I may be incorrect. I'm not a total historian, so don't quote me on this. I don't think there's another Mega Man, at least in the original 6, that had difficulties. It was either you just played it and that was it. Whereas this one had normal and difficult. And I replayed it on difficult and didn't find it all that much tougher. But it does add a little bit more kick. So if you're new to the game or new to the franchise, start with Mega Man 2, start with normal difficulty. Highly recommend that. But I like that. I wish more Mega Man games did that. Because that's one of the complaints I get from people is that Mega Man is too hard. So I wish they would I would like to see more Mega Man games with difficulty settings. Because maybe it'd welcome all you in. So, and for those of you that are like, Mega Man is too hard. Well, I'm not going to mock you, but I want you to know that that's what I get mocked for when I say that about Dark Souls. So someone out there is mocking you. I just want you to know that. So difficulty settings, password system is awesome. Buddy, the box art. Mega Man 2 is the last Mega Man game with epic box art until 9 and 10 brought the franchise back. Sure, like Mega Man 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 all have cool box art, but Mega Man 1 has the most historically bad box art of all time. I'd really like to hang a poster of that in my office. I might get one of those eventually. I love Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2. Mega Man's just drawn by it's a regular dude wearing a motorcycle helmet and blue tights, and he has a pistol. It's not like he has his arm blaster. And the Mega Man 2 box art shows him facing down with Quickman, and then Crashman is in the background looking at them, and it's just a dude in blue with a gun shooting it at Quickman. It's fucking sick. I love the box art for these games. I love how cheesy the box art for Mega Man 1 and 2 is. Oh my fucking God. Tantrum70 said, can we get a Mega Man game that looks like the box art, please? Yes, I want that as well. And then he said the ha 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 ha. And I don't know if that's supposed to sound like Titus from Final Fantasy X, but if it is, double secret probation. And Bort wrote in and said, the cover art confused me as a child. It looks like Alien wrestles with Star Trek phasers and weapons. Why did Mega Man have a gun? I could never beat that dragon as a child. He haunted my dreams. I will say, if I'm going to die on a run of Mega Man, that dragon sometimes gets me. I'll miss a platform, and then I'll get mad at myself. I have died on that dragon myself as well. Awesome box art. Oh, my God. Like I said, much easier platforming than Mega Man 1. The only times I find the platforming tough in this one, there's the one segment of disappearing blocks in Heat Man stage, which you can use item 2 to surpass. Climbing those ladders and dodging those stupid birds' eggs can be a pain in the ass. And Airman's level, there are a few instances where, especially when you're learning the game, you're probably going to get hit by something at some point and knocked off a ledge and die a couple of times. But by and large, the platforming in this one, exponentially easier than it is in Mega Man 1. So, yeah, that's it. Really, my only complaint is just having to use the weapons or the items that you may run out of weapon energy and you might be fucked on. Roto Baggins said, the first game I ever learned to speedrun. Number 1 best Mega Man game. Top 5 music all time of any game. And super fun to keep coming back to. Will always be one of my favorites of all time. Yeah, and it is it's a cool speedrunning game. People are beating it in like 20... I was watching a Summoning Salt YouTube video about the history of Mega Man speedruns. And I'm only about 2/3 of the way through it. And they're at like sub 26 minutes now, I think. And I'm sure it gets faster since then. Levels are pretty short, but that's not a bad thing. Again, quality over quantity for sure. I love this game. It's so much. I replayed it twice back to back, and I was like, I could do a third one. I could see how someone would get addicted to speedrunning this game. I think it's the most speedrunnable of any Mega Man game myself. And again, that soundtrack. And you've heard so many people write in. My God, that soundtrack. Patty O'Brien said, as far as I'm concerned, it's one of the rare 10 out of 10 perfect video games, and it has the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. I would have Mega Man X up there with it, but it's definitely one of. I mean, all the Mega Man soundtracks are good, but Mega Man 2's soundtrack is really, really fucking special, man. My God, what a great game. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. I basically have covered everything in this game. I love everything about this game. So I'm going to wrap up with a few of your closing remarks, a few more thoughts. I'm going to slap a score on it, then we'll get out of here and do the outro. T-Bone III said, this game is hella frustrating, but that soundtrack is straight fire. And I know that some people find Mega Man frustrating. I know they can be tough, especially while you're learning them. I implore you to stick with it because, again, this one, once you know the weaknesses and then it's just practice, it gets, I don't want to say easy, but by Mega Man. I personally think Mega Man 2 is an easier game than Super Mario Bros. 3. I don't know if that's a hot take. Maybe it's just because I've played them both so many times, but Super Mario Bros. 3 fucks me up more toward the end than Mega Man 2 does. But that's because I know the ins and outs of Mega Man 2. Subpar Nova said, I can't not weigh in on my favorite NES game of all time and one of my favorite franchises. Mega Man 2 is my introduction to the series, and I've been hooked ever since. As an older gamer now, I have the luxury of building a nice little Mega Man gaming collection, and an original Mega Man 2 cartridge is the crown jewel. This game will always hold a special place in my heart with its tough but fair difficulty, its amazing boss and level designs, and a soundtrack that's an 11 out of 10. Nothing but love for the Blue Bomber. Well said. Yeah, that's the soundtrack. Really is an 11. The soundtrack is. I'm pretty sure I've saved the Dr. Wily boss, the level 1 music for the end of this. I'm gonna cue it up in like 90 seconds. I can't fucking wait. Fuck, it's so good. Muncal said, shout out to Wily Wars from the Genesis, recently added to Nintendo Switch Online, giving us an upscaled Mega Man 1, 2, and 3 like Mario All-Stars did on the Super Nintendo. It's been fun. Also, it's the OG save state of passwords. Yeah, I want to shout that out quickly too. If you've never played it, it's on the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis Classic, and it's on Sega Genesis Online. The Mega Man Wily Wars are like 16-bit remasters of Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. Much similar to Mega or Super Mario All-Stars, as Munkyle said. I will say I think they look spectacular, but I do find them a little bit tough to play. I just find Mega Man hard with the Genesis. I like the Genesis controller, but I don't like it when I need to be really precise. And I find in Mega Man you need to be precise, and I do struggle with that controller a little bit. Bab the Babs said, what a huge game for me. It's the first game my parents bought me. I played it countless times. I got so good I was able to beat all the Robot Masters with just the Mega Buster. I still remember the code to start at Wily's Fortress with all energy tanks. I don't know why, but every time I watch the end game of this with the seasons, I start crying. Probably because the song was super sad. Kind of is for an ending song. It's the game that started my love for the Mega Man series and video games in general. I still have my original cartridge. Yeah, the ending is really nice too. Mega Man's like walking away with this awesome music playing. And yeah, it's like he goes through like the 4 seasons, and it is. It's kind of beautiful. I agree. And final word of this episode is Dan of Dissect That Film, who said, Mega Man 2 is the one I always come back to. It's my comfort food. I can sit down and bomb it out in around 40 minutes. It's still not my favorite Mega Man, but it's always the one I reach for. Oddly, I don't have a bunch of memories attached to it. Just always been there. Definitely one of the best NES games of all time. And really, when the series hit its stride, it is the video game equivalent of Terminator 2. I fucking love that comparison because I agree. I'll hear an argument that Mega Man 3 is Terminator 2, Mega Man 2 is Terminator, and Mega Man 1 was like the first draft of Terminator. But I agree. Terminator 2 is better than Terminator. Mega Man 2 is better than Mega Man. You're right. I agree with that 100%. If I'm scoring it, I'm going to use the scale of there's 11 mainline Mega Man games. I would give Mega Man 2 a 10. Mega Man 3, I'd give like a 10.5. I think it's right there. The addition of Rush, The Slide, and Proto Man puts Mega Man 3 over the top for me. But Mega Man 2 is just a masterpiece, one of the best. It's a top 5 NES game for me. It's a top 3 Mega Man game for me. One of my favorite games of all time. It is a fucking masterpiece. If you haven't played it, pick up the Mega Man Legacy Collection on the cheap. It's on PS Plus as well. And play Mega Man 2. And don't get mad at it. Practice, get good, beat it, and then thank me for introducing you to the world of Mega Man. We need to do more Mega Man episodes. We could just make a Mega Man the Mega-cast, and we'll just cover Mega Man every week. All right. When I do these by myself, my throat gets very dry. So and we have to record Purple Monkey Dishwasher in 3 hours. So I'm going to stop this, cue up that Dr. Wily 1 music that I think is so fucking good, then the outro, then we're done. Thanks for listening, everybody. Donkey Kong 64 next week. Enjoy this music. That is going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for giving me a call and talking Mega Man 2. To all of you that wrote in about the game, appreciate the comments. I couldn't read all of them, but it was a blast seeing how many people love this game as much as I do. And again, I said it off the top, if you have not played Mega Man, and maybe this episode has tempted you or wet your whistle or tickled your pickle or got you excited, and you're thinking about giving it a shot, I think Mega Man 2 is the place to start. Or Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. But just know that Mega Man X is like a different futuristic spin-off series of the OG Mega Mans. If you want to play an original Mega Man, I think Mega Man 2 is the safest bet. Go to Metal Man first, get that Metal Blade, and you're off to the races, okay? Thanks so much, everybody. We will be back in 7 days with the highly anticipated Donkey Kong 64 review. We're hoping to review it Monday night. I'm driving back from BC Sunday and Monday, and because of the fires in Jasper, which if you don't know, Jasper here in Alberta had a big fire, and it's fucking awful. It sucks. My drive has gone from about 9 hours to about 14. So we got to do a couple of days now and split it up. Assuming I get back on time Monday afternoon, Monday night, Bradley and I are finally reviewing Donkey Kong 64, and you'll be listening to it on Wednesday, okay? Thanks a lot, everybody. If you enjoy the show, check out Patreon. Leave us a nice review. I'd really appreciate that. You know all the rigmarole. I'm going to thank some patrons and get out of here. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll do this again next week. Cheers, so long, goodbye. Remember, the game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I turn out every week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level at patreon.com/rememberthegame or higher. And as such, I am contractually obligated to say their names as quickly as possible. So a huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer Slick motherfucking Rick, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, J Nasty 15, The Keegs, James Clark, Dave McGee, Dan of Dissect That Film, Doug Doran, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Confused But Still Here, Lil by Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Jeff Bergeron, Daniel, John Woodruff, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Adam Blake still hasn't enjoyed, DK64, it's true. Holmes, Zach Shepard, Frosty Feet 492, Triple, Chugger 22, Elijah Burns, Madam Nutsich, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Steve Dalk, that's right. Standard Ass Brian, Mizuru, Juris Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Eric James, Jake Carter, Biddy, Laces Out Dan, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westrich, Rush's Dog Walker, Paul Burke, Stud Still Smash, Brant Hewitt, Matt Babineau, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Esteban Navarro, K-Atch, Jimothy, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Band, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof, I cancel my Netflix to afford this shout out, Max Lagroom, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Jugs About Him, K, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude Walter, Nerdy Hybrid, The Fletchman, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Wimp 15, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Radioactive Man, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, John M. Watkins, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Hitchy Poo, Burt Macklin, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, T-Bear 87, Maverick, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monstrous the Boner. AB Killen works for me. Alexander Camps. Yes, it's true. This man has no dick. That's what I heard. T-Bone the Third, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Itchy Nutsuru, Just Car Pranks, Rated X, Illint, Darth Skywalter, Postman, Nick Creature, Youngster TK, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Nordak, Fantasy Final, Beers of War, Because 19, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Longrod von Hugendong II, Roger Stawbox Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shawman, Frosty Bear, Max Sandin, Sour Goat Face, Alex Ramos, Faded Sufferance, Benjamin Atkins, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Chris Hill, There Is No Cake, Mellow Yellow 8787, B Money, Tyler Bauer, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chozorizo, Fill Up My Farts with Mouth, E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Atrio Wormwood, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robier, Guy Who Does Things, Sabin, Brian Richmond, Blobby Rogers, Glue Scoppin, Bula, Matt Zeus, Plow King, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Put It in H, Chaz Hammond, Elephant Calves, Ace McGuy, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Ryan Whitcomb, AJ McCurgy, Lotus, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, Toby OP, Scotty McGee, Alex McIntyre, Z-Train 22, S, Eric Hopewell, Darbles, Sire of Sarah, David Schroeder, Theodore, Diablo Spartan, Diablo Spartan, excuse me, I said that wrong. Well, I said it right, which is wrong. Justin Blair, right, wrong. Justin Blair, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Super Jess, Captain Steve, and Adam's former assistant, Ryan Stemmerding, Shank the Rat-Faced Bastard, Crystal Lake Management, Leo, Dazer Wraith, Super Saiyan Seferioth, Savage Boosh, Beat on the Moan, Combo Chuck, Travis Sanders, Rills, Lord Salazar, and Zen Paladin. Thank you all so fucking much. We bought a house. You guys kind of bought our house. The new house we're moving into. So, I mean, you can't ever come to my house or know my address or stay the fuck away. You're not even allowed on our street, quite frankly. But we are grateful. So thanks all so much, everybody. And next week, pending the video game gods don't screw us up, it's time to talk some Donkey Kong 64, okay? Take it easy, everybody. Cheers.